Welcome to the Sam and Joe VA Show, where we teach women just like you how to start and scale a thriving virtual assistant business.
We're your hosts, Sam and Joe, and get ready to have the control, flexibility, and freedom you've always dreamed of.
Welcome to episode 139, Back to Basics.
We are in a new year, and when you enter a new year, especially, it's easy to get distracted by all of the new shiny opportunities and tools that are around you. And we want you to instead focus on the fundamentals, those basics in business that are going to make or break you reaching your goals.
And that seems super boring and not sexy, right? Going back and just doing the fundamentals of business? Oh, so boring and so necessary. And we're going to go through what happens when you get distracted by all of these new things. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of business and how you can how do you know whether you're getting distracted by something new and shiny or whether it is actually a good opportunity, because that's sometimes tough.
Yeah, it can be really hard to say no to something, especially if there's a lot of hype around something new that you've just been introduced to or something new that's been launched. Really hard to know whether to say yes or no. So we're going to help you with that for sure. Look, for those of you that do get distracted by all the shiny new things, this is very, very common. Like there's a name for it, which we've talked about. It's actually called shiny object syndrome. We've spoken about it, I think, in a previous episode. Very, very common. And it doesn't matter where you are on your VA journey. Like this can happen to you. You don't necessarily have to be a virtual assistant that's struggling with anything, although you can be. You could be a VA that is currently in the ebb of the whole ebbs and flows of being self-employed and being a business owner. You could be struggling to find clients and you're looking for the latest, newest thing that's going to get that for you. Or maybe you are just being inundated with all the new shiny tools and things that we talked about before. And it all just sounds really cool. And you like learning about new things.
And new strategies and like new courses, and there is so much information out there and so many new things, and things are changing all the time, that it's very easy to think, oh, I've got to implement these new things, strategies, tools, all of this stuff so that I keep my business relevant and I keep bringing in clients.
Yeah.
Actually, it just distracts you and spreads you so thin. You end up doing such a poor job across everything, and
Yes.
nothing ever gets done really, really well.
Yes. So, especially for those virtual assistants that pride themselves on their tech savviness, I think.
Mm.
You know, that's part of who they are as a virtual assistant. They want to be keeping up on top of every latest trend and tool out there. That is tough. That's a lot of pressure you're putting on yourself, having to know everything there is about anything out there.
Yep.
What
So
you're doing though, it's just this is all just distraction, right? This is all just
Yeah.
noise distracting you from your goals.
Yeah, and ultimately, that's what we're talking about here, right? We have goals in business that we want to achieve, and the way that you're doing that is by doing the basics and not getting distracted by all the new things.
Yeah. Should we talk about some of those new things? Some of the
Mhm.
or the just they don't even have to be new. They're just shiny. Whether they're new, shiny, or new and shiny, they're distractions. One is virtual assistants that they've got an online presence, pretty good online presence. It's solid. They're showing up. But they feel like they need to be on another platform as well, or maybe all the platforms.
Mm,
Do they? Do they really?
yeah. If I'm on all the places, then I'll have more chance of getting and attracting clients, right?
Yes.
Mm. What actually happens is that when you're in all the places, again, you do an average job of all of them because it's not sustainable to be showing up authentically or even showing up at all across all the platforms, all the social media.
Yeah. It's very, very hard to maintain.
Mm,
Very, very hard. Like, you might start off with a bang and you're like, "Yeah, I can do this. This is pretty easy. I'm just repurposing content across all the different platforms." Soon as you then get busy again, are you really gonna be able to maintain that? You're
mm,
absolutely better off just nailing 1 or 2 platforms, showing up consistently throughout the year on platforms that, A, where your ideal clients are hanging out, but B, that you actually enjoy being on there,
mhm,
and forget about the rest. Just forget
mhm.
about it.
Yep. The other thing they get distracted by is all the courses, the coaches, the new learning, the masterclasses, the challenges,
Mm,
programs, and just get into that constant learning, 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 learning. I think because we're wired to want the silver bullet. We're wired to want the quick, fast, easy thing
mhm.
to do to get the thing that we want in today's modern society, right?
Yeah, yeah, but ask yourself or take a look at what did you invest in? What courses and learning did you invest in last year that A, you just never got round to, or you didn't finish, or you may have finished, but then didn't have any time to do any action taking, like implementing what you learnt.
Mm. Reading
So it's
books,
yeah,
same thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Reading books is great, but if you're not implementing anything from them, then what is the point?
What is the point?
Yeah. We see this. There are people who do course after course after course, go with coaching program after coaching program after coaching program.
Mhm.
What happens is they get so confused because
Yeah,
everyone is teaching something different
yeah.
and they've never given any individual program or course the time
Mhm,
to learn and implement over and over and over and over and do it really, really well and get the
mhm,
results because of that.
mhm.
We do not want that for you.
No, it is such a waste of your time, your energy, and your money. The money that you're investing in all these things. You're doing so many people a disservice, I feel, by doing this. Yourself, the person that you are investing in, because
Mm,
then it's easy if you're then not if you're not fully invested, like you've invested financially, but mentally and energy-wise, you haven't fully invested, then of course you're not gonna get the results that you want from it, what you need from
mm,
it. Then it's easy to go, "Ah, no, don't bother going to that person or doing that course because I didn't get anything out of it."
yeah. Gotta go all in just on one and do it well, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of services, easy to
Mm.
get distracted by thinking that you need to add more services to your current offerings.
Yeah, seeing other virtual assistants with all these what you deem as amazing services and, "Oh, look how successful they are, and they're getting all these clients." And so you keep adding and adding and adding, and, people say or some coaches talk about how there's one of the strategies of, like, bringing in more money is to create new offerings.
See that a lot. Yeah.
We completely disagree.
Mm-mm-mm.
Completely disagree. It will just distract you, muddy your messaging, like all sorts of ways to confuse those potential clients. And we just want you to go back to basics. Have a few service packages or packages for projects and just do those and offer those and do them
Mhm.
really well.
Yeah, becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none A very
Mm,
well-known saying is, once again, "It's not gonna serve you." It
mhm,
isn't.
yeah. And we've talked about this multiple times on many podcast episodes about how niching down to that one service takes so much pressure off you
Mhm.
in all sorts of aspects, creating packages and offerings and, learning all of the things that you need to know about all of the other things that you're offering. It just really focuses your time and energy, and your message becomes super clear. Like we could talk about
Yeah.
niching for days, but super, super clear, attracting those great clients that you want to work with.
Yeah. And the same goes for packages. Like if a virtual we see this as well all too often, virtual assistants that, they might be happy with their services. They've already got some packages in place. They don't feel like it's enough. Think they need to add more packages to their offering.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
get it right. Get those fundamentals right. Should we talk about the fundamentals? Should we
Yeah.
talk about the 7 fundamentals that we, and not just us, but a lot of people that are doing well in business swear by? These are the things that you need to be putting your time and energy on nailing, getting it right.
Yeah.
Ignore all the other distractions. This is where your focus needs to be right now.
Hmm. Do the fundamentals really, really well. And we see virtual assistants who are super successful, and they have done this. They have
Mhm.
narrowed down their focus and they have focused on the fundamentals and do really well without the added stress.
Yeah, and that these 7 things, they are not overly complicated. They are very simple, and they're simple to nail as well, we think.
Yeah. 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 Number one, setting great goals and planning for how you are going to achieve those goals.
Yeah, this keeps you super, super focused the entire
Yeah.
year. If you set really good goals at the beginning of the year, actionable, measurable goals that you can then refer to. You don't want to just be setting some goals and then forgetting about them. You need to be
Mm.
referring back to them. And this absolutely helps you figure out the difference between whether or not this is going to be a distraction, taking away from the things you need to be focusing on, or if is in alignment with those goals that you set.
Mm. Yeah.
Focus, clarity.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Hmm. Yeah. Number two is to get the fundamentals of your pricing, your
Mhm,
services, and your
mhm.
packages right. And keep it simple. We're talking like 1 to 3 packages, 1 to 3 services. Keep your pricing simple. Don't have a million different prices for all sorts of different scenarios. Keep it nice and simple.
Yeah, we see virtual assistants falling into the trap of thinking they need more than that 1 to 3 service package because, "Oh, but what if I get a lead that doesn't want one of these, they want something in between or something
Mhm.
completely different? Surely I need to have out there, put out into the world something that is going to help every single
Everybody.
lead that, happens to find me."
Yeah, yeah. And our advice, if that's you thinking that, is that they are going to come to you anyway,
Mhm.
and you can build a package that is in between if you want to, or you
Yeah.
can help direct them to one of the other packages that might be right for them.
Mm. And
It
your
doesn't
price.
mean that it's fixed by putting out those services, packages, and pricing.
Yes, there can still be flexibility there.
Mm,
Like, it's not necessarily doesn't mean that you have to say no to a lead that comes to you wanting something that isn't part of the packages, the 3 packages you're putting out there to the world.
mm,
You can be flexible, you can still work with them. You just create something for them that meets their needs,
yeah, if you want to, right?
if you want to, if you
Yeah.
want to. And in terms of your pricing, hey, it's got to be profitable.
We're not a charity. We're not doing free work. We're not doing minimum wage work. We are providing really valuable services, so price accordingly.
Yeah. So get your services, your packages, and your pricing nailed down, tight, simple.
Mhm. Yeah. Right, number 3 is to create a great brand with some super clear messaging.
Mhm. Now this is easier if you have done number 2. Well, your services and your packages and your pricing, and also obviously knowing who your ideal client is. That
Mhm.
all if you've nailed that in number 2, then number 3 is actually super easy.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be fancy. A great brand doesn't need to be fancy.
No?
It needs to be consistent,
Mhm.
look great, and have some great messaging to support that brand.
Yeah, that's it. It can be DIY.
Mhm.
Nothing
Yep.
wrong with DIY.
Yep.
Simple, consistent.
Mhm. Number 4, showing up, being the face of your business, building those relationships, building that trust, that know, like, and trust.
Mhm.
Keep it simple.
Mhm.
Showing up on 1 or 2 platforms. 1 is perfectly fine. We see super successful virtual assistants who have just done LinkedIn,
Multiple
offering
virtual assistants that have just done
yeah,
LinkedIn. Yeah.
LinkedIn, 1 service, and doing a really great job.
Doesn't need to be fancy. It does not need to be fancy. Showing up consistently.
Mm.
Gotta show up consistently.
And reach
If you
out to people, build relationships. It's really is these are simple basics, the
Mhm.
fundamentals.
It seems so t s does it seem too simple? Like,
We
maybe?
overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
We overcomplicated thinking it's gonna be this, like, weird, hard, time-consuming thing where we get all confused about who we're trying to reach out to and when's the best time and, how many times should I and what all of these layers that we add to the complexity of something that can just be so simple.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. Show up, build the relationships, be
Yeah.
consistent. You gotta wow
Right.
your clients though, right? That's another one. It's another big one.
Yeah.
Is showing up for your clients, doing a great job, wowing them, not forgetting about them, not neglecting them, reminding them that you are there for them, that you're supporting them, that you're a cheerleader, that you want them to do really well in their business, and that's what you're there for.
Yeah. So this is number 5, and this could be kind of defined as like customer service.
Mhm.
Clients that are well looked after, communicated with well, and you're doing a great job. That also can be very, very simple.
Do a great job. Yeah. Number
And
5,
you
just
and you
do a
know
great
what?
job.
Yeah, you can do a great job. Do you know why? Because you're not distracted by
Mhm.
all of the other shiny things. You have energy and time to look after your clients.
Easy.
Care about them in super simple, easy ways.
Yeah, show them that you appreciate them. 'Cause they are paying you. Yes, you're giving them value and you're providing a service, but without your clients, without happy clients, do you have a business?
Mm. and not
No.
one that you wanna be in.
Uh,
Yeah. Right, number 6 is to nail your systems and processes.
oh, now this is the one that I think a lot of virtual assistants leave either to the very last or only do it when
Mm.
the shit hits the fan and they're like, "Oh my god, Joe's been telling me for years that I need to get these systems and processes in place, and now I'm ready to grow my team, or now I'm ready to bring on more clients, and just everything is just so unorganized and all over the
Yep,
show." It's just feels hard.
yep, and it will be even harder if you try and scale without those systems and processes.
Mm,
And so this is not about, like, bringing in all the tools and, like, upgrading tools constantly and like, changing and new all the time. It's like, no, get a fundamental great system for each of the areas inside your business and go with it.
mhm.
We have in my business, we implemented a time tracking tool 10 years ago, and we've never changed.
'Cause you're happy with it and it works,
Does everything that we need. It works perfectly fine.
and you've never been, tempted by the hype of the latest and newest and the bestest other time tracking tool that's out there?
Absolutely, I have, but I'm like, "No, this is working really well. It's a great tool. It's one we still recommend now. It does what it needs to do for us. We
Mm,
wouldn't be gaining anything more by switching and changing, and it takes a whole lot of time and effort and energy and distraction to move to another tool. So it has to be the right decision. You're gonna have to get that benefit from it.
yeah, yeah.
And processes, Google Sites for your handbooks for your clients. This is something we teach over in the members club. And those who are scaling or getting busier are like, oh, I'm so thankful that you've taught us how to create handbooks for clients. Because now I see the massive benefit and now I can scale much easier.
Yeah. Don't have to be fancy, doesn't have to
No.
cost a lot of money, don't need the latest and greatest tool that people are talking about. Once again,
Yeah.
just keep it simple, stick to the basics, just get it right, and make sure it works for you.
Hmm.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if the tool that you love, there's somebody else, another VA down the road, doesn't like it, and they like something else, and you go, "Oh, why don't they like it?
Mm.
Maybe I shouldn't like it after all. Maybe I need to be doing what they're using." If it's
Yeah.
working for you, then it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, ay, 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 ay. What's the
All
last
right.
one? What's number
Last,
7?
number 7, you have to look at your financials, you have to know your numbers, you have to be
Mhm.
monitoring how things are going.
You
Otherwise,
can't
how do you know whether you're profitable?
Yeah, you can't be leaving this until tax time, until the end of the financial year, and that's when you sit down and look at how things have gone. Like, that's not gonna work.
No. Yeah. Keep an eye on those numbers. Learn how to read the numbers.
Mm.
Monitor things. Don't leave it all to chance.
And no, have a budget of what you want to invest in terms of tools and in
Mm,
terms of learning and development. That will then help you to kind of maybe rein in some of that spending that
mm.
you're doing because of all of these shiny new things that are distracting you. All
That's
right.
it. That's the fundamentals. It's all you need to do. And we
Let's just
really mean that.
Yeah, it is. Let's do a recap. So you've got goal setting and planning is number 1.
Mhm.
Number 2 is your services, your packages, and your pricing. Number 3 is your brand and messaging. Number 4, showing up, building relationships. Number 5, wowing clients and doing great work. Number 6, your systems and processes. And number 7, monitoring those all important financials.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. How are you going to know whether you're getting distracted by something or if the something is actually a really good opportunity
Yes.
that could see big improvements in your business.
Yeah, yeah. Because new doesn't always mean better. So
No.
it's easy to get caught up in the hype of something new or the hype of what's being talked about in a group online. Um, fear of missing out, that can
Yeah.
add to it. Like if you hear that there's a dozen other virtual assistants using this tool, oh, okay, I want to be using it too. Or a dozen other virtual assistants have just signed up to XXX. Oh, I should be doing that as well.
Yeah.
We've got some questions that you can ask yourself to help make an informed decision of whether or not this is going to be a distraction or an opportunity.
Mhm. Yeah. The first thing we want you to ask yourself is this new thing actually going to be in alignment with my goals for the year? It's going to get me closer to my goals.
Mhm.
It's going to help me achieve my goals. And if not, say no. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to focus on the fundamentals that help me reach my goals.
Yeah. Pull out your business plan. Hopefully, you don't have to dig around for it. Hopefully, it's right beside you on your desk. Open it up. Remind yourself of those goals and your priorities that you've set for the year. Is it in
Mhm.
alignment? No, it's not. There you go. There's your answer.
There's your answer.
There's
Yep.
your answer. Another great question to ask yourself is, will it add value to my business? Is this going to benefit the business? Is this going to benefit my clients? Am I somehow going to make money from whatever it is I'm investing in?
Mhm. That's very key.
Huge.
Yeah. Next question to ask yourself is, what will I be ignoring or not have time for anymore or say no to if I spend time on this new thing or say yes to this new opportunity? What
Yeah.
is the opportunity cost?
Yes. This is what's that thing that you say quite often, Joe? Every time you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Mhm.
Something we
Because
do quite a lot. Yeah.
we all have 24 hours and 7 days in a week. So if you are going to spend time on something, you are going to spend less time on something else
Yeah.
that you may have already been doing.
Yeah.
Can't just keep adding. We do not have more time. We can't invent more time.
We can't clone ourselves either. We've had a discussion about that early on in the year. It's not happening.
Yes.
It's not happening. Another question to ask yourself
Mhm.
is it going to help me do the fundamentals better? So if we go back to those 7 fundamentals that we have talked about in this episode, I think anyone listening is going to go, oh, yeah, that's a big gap. Let's say number 7, oh, yeah, I've left this too long. This is definitely something that I need to make a priority this year. If this new thing that is in front of you is going to fill that gap in that fundamental that we spoke about, then yeah, it's probably a really good idea.
Yeah. And when you're thinking about courses, coaching, programs, that kind of stuff, asking yourself, am I actually committed and have the ability to, or the time and energy to, take this through all the way to the end? Do all of the learning, implement what I've learnt, do it really, really well, and then get the results from it? Or are you learning for the sake of learning?
Mm. Or is it fear disguises learning, which we have
Mm,
another episode on? Fear disguises learning, it's a thing. If you deep down don't feel as though you are enough, your skills are enough, your experience is enough, whatever your feeling is lacking, it's easy then to go, right, well, I need to learn this and I need to learn this. I need to be better. I need to be
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Great questions to ask yourself. If you have new opportunities, shiny objects in front of you, new strategies, courses, coaching, ask yourself those questions.
Yes, and get the basics right. Get the basics right this year. This is your year. 2023 is your year to get the basics of business right, those fundamentals.
Mhm.
Then, once you've got those nailed down, you're super, super happy, then you've probably got the time to do something cool and new
Yeah.
and maybe be distracted, but get those fundamentals right.
Mhm. If you do those fundamentals really, really well and you do them consistently over the long term, you will be streaks ahead of other virtual assistants because you haven't allowed yourself to get distracted. It's so boring. We know. We know that this is boring.
Ah,
Doing the fundamentals well is what is going to see you get the business you want.
yeah. When we were planning this episode, there was a quote that I came across. Now, we're talking about how this is a boring topic. Michael Jordan, he's not boring at all. He's not a virtual assistant, but he's very, very successful in his chosen field.
Mhm.
And if you've watched that documentary, like, he's so incredibly focused, like, to the point of being, a little bit of a dickhead. But anyway, that's a different story. But the Michael Jordan quote that I came across is, "Get the fundamentals down, and the level of everything you do will then rise."
Love it. Can you
Mhm.
repeat that again for
Get
those in the back?
those in the back. Get the fundamentals down, and the level of everything you do will rise.
Mhm. 'Cause you're doing it very focused, aren't you?
You are.
Yep. Right. For those who are like, okay, I am committed to this year getting the fundamentals right. We would love to help you do that over in the Members Club Mastermind. So head on over, check it out, and we will see you leveling up in 2023 alongside us. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Sam and Joe VA Show. If you'd like to find out more, head to the VA Foundry website to check out the Members Club and the amazing resources, training, and coaching.
You can find us at thevafoundry.com.